All right, hello. Hi guys, welcome. Hello everyone. Hi Jason. I see your dog there. Jason, what's your dog's name?
She's very camera shy, but she's good tonight.
Cute. Is she a dachshund?
She's a dachshund,
Oh, dachshund. Got it.
mini dachshund.
Nice. Very cute. I love animals.
Me too.
I have a dog and a cat myself. I wasn't a cat person until I actually adopted a cat recently, actually about 2 years ago in Puerto Rico. Those of you who don't know, my name is Jeremy. I am the owner of Made Management, a talent agency based in New York City and in Puerto Rico. And I was in Puerto Rico. There was a hurricane that came through, and it was Hurricane Fiona. This is, I think, 3 years ago. And, anyways, after Hurricane Fiona came through Puerto Rico, I went to my local breakfast spot to grab an acai bowl. And this cat came running out to me and he was meowing at me, just like screaming his head off. And he was skin and bone and as big as my hand, this little tiny cat, this really big head, big ears. And I was like, oh my gosh, look at this cat. And I walked into the acai bowl, the breakfast place, and I said, do you guys have any lunch meat I can purchase? I'm going to feed this cat out here. And the guy said, yeah, sure. And he said that poor cat, he was here with his mom, and since Hurricane Fiona, the mom's been missing. I was like, really? He's just on his own? And the guy's, yeah, he's just on his own. And you could tell he was not in good shape. So I felt bad. I went and rescued him later on that night. So now I'm a cat dad. Took him to the vet, and he was 6 months old. He looked like he was like 2 weeks old. That's how tiny he was. He hadn't eaten for at least a whole week since the storm. So then I thought, what should I name this cat? And the hurricane where he lost his mom was called Fiona. So I was like, okay, it should be a Shrek theme, but I can't call him Shrek, right? That's not appropriate for a little cat. So I was like, what should I name this cat? And I was thinking of all the male like names in the movie, and I thought Donkey would be perfect, but I should have named him Donkey. I didn't name him Donkey. He loves to talk. He'll talk back to you. I could talk to him all day. He'll meow. He literally just talks back. But anyways, I named him Prince Charming. I'm so embarrassed. I walk into the vet, like they're like, "What's your cat's name?" They're checking him in. Prince Charming. Anyways, that's my story, my cat. As everybody's logging in, welcome everyone. Welcome to this session today. Jason distracted me with his dog. I'm a animal person. Well, welcome everyone. Welcome to the session. I hope you guys are excited about today's session. I don't have Josh with me today. Message him on Instagram. Tell him how upset you are. He's not with me today, so you guys get to hang out with me today, which is fine. I like it better that way. We don't need Josh around. No, just don't tell him I said that. Welcome as you guys are logging in. I see people have been logging in this whole time. Make sure, as a reminder, please change your screen name to your performer name. This is going to be interactive today. So today, I want to cover a couple of things today. Again, everything that we talk about here on these sessions are for you guys. We're trying to educate you as much as possible. We want you guys to have as much success in this industry as possible. Believe it or not, Josh and I and everybody else on the team, we want you guys to become rock stars. We want you guys to become superstars. We want you guys to have amazing success in this business. And this is why we do what we do, because of that reason. With us, we love the industry. We're crazy to be a part of it, just like you guys are. So you're not the only crazy ones out there. But we love the entertainment business. We've both been in it for a long time, most of our lives, and we enjoy what we do. It's very long hours at times, it's exhausting at times, but at the end of the day, when you do what you love, you wake up every day energized and excited about the day because of all the possibilities. So again, we're here to help you guys. And today's session, I'll do some question and answers, and we'll chat with you guys today. But I really want you guys to take it as seriously as possible. Take these sessions seriously. Do what you can to be as active on these sessions as possible. I understand everybody has a busy schedule. Everybody has something happening. Everybody has lives and school and friends and family and work and all those things happening. But take as much as you can from these sessions. And this platform is just going to get better and better. We're adding more team members to get more content out to you guys and producing more things for you guys. We're excited about, where it's headed. I hope you guys are excited too. So I see everybody's still joining in. I see a lot of familiar faces here today. I love seeing all of your faces. If you're able to join me on camera today, I'd love to be able to see your smiling faces. If not, if you're driving or at work, I understand. Not a big deal, but I'd love to see you guys. But anybody here, is it your first session with us? Your very first session ever, your very first live Zoom. Jason, I know it's your first. Yes. I've never seen you before. He's not a familiar face at all. Zinger, I have it. Zinger, I think that's your real name. I apologize ahead of time if I mispronounce your name. Okay. So if I do call you today.
It's okay, Jeremy. It's Zinger.
Zinger. Okay. Thank you. Yes. Please correct me. And it's going to take me 5 times to say your name before I say it correctly. Zinger. Got it. Welcome. Good to see you here. I'm glad this is your first session. So today I want to just talk a little bit about these sessions. Actually, let's talk about these sessions and what these sessions can do for you. And then I'll open it up for some questions. I'd like to chat. If you have to leave early, no big deal. You guys, I completely understand. You're not going to hurt my feelings if you do have to leave the session early. But just so you know, on these sessions, you're going to have different industry professionals. A lot of times it's just Josh and I talking about the industry, the business, trying to give you guys some good, useful tips, some good information. But you are going to have different industry professionals that are coming on. In fact, I know Josh is working on trying to get a really cool guest with us on here next Tuesday. He's excited about it. He still has to make some confirmations and lock it in. But he told me to tell you guys that most likely he'll have a special guest with us this next Tuesday. And again, these guests are here to be informative, to help you guys to give their perspective on the industry and for you guys to grow and to learn, but also to network. And that's the important part. With these sessions, there's also the weekend sessions that I do on the live stream that I want you guys to check out and join if you get a chance. I do it every Saturday, my time, Eastern time is where I'm located. And I alternate times. I'm actually adjusting the time. So this next week, I don't know if it's been posted or updated in the lounge. It may have been yesterday because I did send over to make those adjustments for next week. Next week, those of you who are able to join us, in Florida, I'm going to be at the event in Orlando. Anybody else going to be at that event next week? I know a few of you might be. Anybody scheduled to be there in person? I see Joseph, you have your hand raised there. Anyone else raise your hand? Raven, I see you. So I'm going to be there in person. I'm going to get a chance to see you in person if you're there in person. So I'm excited about seeing you guys. Joseph, I know I saw you, I believe you were there last year, right? That's the last time we saw each other in person? Yes, sir. All right, good. I'm excited. So yeah, so I'm actually headed off to Orlando tomorrow. I'm actually traveling right now with some production. I am in Phoenix, Arizona still. It is very hot out here. Anybody else in Phoenix out there? Anyone else joining me from the great state of Arizona? Rosalie, yes, you are. Are you in Phoenix as well? No. Okay. It is very hot today. In fact, I was on a meeting earlier today on Zoom. This is how hot it is. You guys, everybody says how hot Phoenix is, right? I'm sitting in a hotel, as you could probably see from my background. I'm in a hotel lobby here in Phoenix, Central Phoenix, Scottsdale, Arizona. And I think it's 110 or 112 today, some crazy amount. If I go out, like they say, your vehicles are like 20 degrees hotter than what the actual temperature is. I bet you if I go out to a parked car in the parking lot and sat in it, it'd probably say like 130, some crazy temperature. If you're in Europe, I apologize, or in Australia, I don't know how to convert Fahrenheit to Celsius. You'll have to ask Google what that temperature is, but anyways, it's hot. But today I was on a meeting earlier and I was in a hotel, I was in the lobby and it got noisy and I wanted to go out to a quieter area. And just right outside the door right here, I could walk out. There's a shaded area and there's some chairs out there and it's warm, of course, but I only have 10 more minutes of my meeting. So I thought, oh, I'll just grab my computer. I'll walk outside for 10 minutes. I sat out there for 5 minutes and my computer froze because it got so hot it couldn't work anymore. So it literally kicked me off the internet. It the Zoom meeting crashed and I was there for 5 minutes outside. So that's how hot it is. Anyways, but these sessions, going back to the point of what my whole conversation was with for you guys, is on these sessions, I really want you guys to dial in into practice being present with these sessions and being as prepared as possible and really working on your setup. Okay. And what I mean by that, I know it's easy for you if you're traveling, if you're at a friend's house, or if you're just happen to be in between appointments during your day and you want to jump on these sessions. I'm not saying that you have to be completely camera ready or all that stuff at all times. But what I want you to do is to try to be as camera ready as possible for these sessions as often as you possibly can. And the reason is because I want you guys to start thinking in the form of professionalism, because that's what's going to carry you through all of these opportunities. All right. And so I'll give you a couple of examples and what I mean by that. Today, before my session, before I logged in, because I'm at this hotel, it's a new place. I've never done a live Zoom session here, right? I thought, okay, what do I need to do to make sure that I have the best background that I can that's basic, not distracting as possible? So I walked the whole hotel 15 minutes before we started today. I walked through the lobby, and I wanted to find a quiet area, right? I wanted to find some place that doesn't have a lot of traffic. I didn't want people walking behind me. And not that we couldn't have done the session together here with that happening, right? I could easily sit anywhere, right? And we'd be able to chat with you guys and talk and everything. But I wanted the most professional experience possible for you guys, right? So I walked the entire hotel and I found I'm in this little cafe here in the lobby, and it's off the main path. Like everybody's walking through the hotel doors over here, but I'm in this little alcove, right? This little cutout from this little cafe. And I found this little area to sit in. And then I found the best lighting I could find with a plug-in nearby because I didn't want my computer to die on you guys, right? So here I am thinking 10, 15 minutes before my session, I'm thinking through all of these things. And it comes naturally to me because I'm constantly on Zoom sessions. And obviously, if I'm at my studio, my office, it's easy, right? You have your setup already. So if you guys are joining me from your house, I want you guys to have a setup. I want you guys to have something set up, a place for you to log in and just have that normal setup, right? So for example, Rosalie and Jason, two people that I've talked to already today, they both have nice neutral backgrounds behind them. You guys can see them on the screen there. They both have good lighting. We could see them well, but there's nothing distracting happening behind them, right? And the reason why this is important is because you really only have windows of opportunity in this business. And those windows, they come and go, and you never know when that's going to happen, right? If I'm in a distracting setting on Zoom, I'll put one of the Zoom backgrounds up, but I don't like those. Like, they're not the greatest, right? They do the job. Like, they block off the traffic behind you, but it's not really, that's what they're meant for, but it's not as professional as at least having a good background. Now, I want you guys, the reason we talk about this is because I want you guys to just start thinking about it. What I've done over the last couple of years, jumping on these sessions, I start to think about it, right? So my 15 minutes of preparation before I came on today is just a second thing that I do for any Zoom session I'm on, right? For any meeting I'm on, for anything that I do. Professionalism in this industry goes a really long way. Okay. It's all about the details and it's about being prepared. And let me give you some examples. So I have a lot of agency friends, I have a lot of casting director friends, and we talk about these things all the time when we're having lunch in business meetings together, things like that. Guess what we talk about? We talk about you guys, right? What those are not necessarily you guys. We're not sitting there going, Jason the other day, he showed up with his dog. No, we talk about stories of things that we encounter in the industry, crazy stories, things that come up, meetings that we have, and really comes down to the details. All these stories really come down to details. I was on a Zoom session. I do these industry professional interviews on the weekends. So going back to that on the weekends, if you guys are able to join us on Saturday, I interview a new industry professional every week. I pick their brains and I talk to them about the industry. And I like to get their thoughts, their opinions. I like to get their perspective because everybody in this industry has a different experience and a different perspective. So you can get the opinion from one person and then next week get a different opinion from somebody else, right? That's because everybody's in their own different perspective. So one agent might have an opinion about how you do your resume versus another agent might have a different way of the way that they like you to have your resume done. Always remember that when you're getting advice from somebody. If you ask me a question, I'm going to give you advice based on the way that I like it, right? Whereas another talent manager might have another way of doing things based on their experience. So keep that in mind. But we were talking about headshots once, and I was telling a story about how I'm not a casting director. What casting directors hate the most is they hate when somebody submits a headshot and then they request a audition tape from that person and that person does not look like their headshot. And you don't always have to look like your headshot. So for example, let's pick on Jason since we've been picking on him all day. Since he asked for it for his dog. Let's just say for example, Jason got his headshots done, let's say 6 months ago. Jason, when's the last time you did headshots?
My last headshot was probably about 5 months ago, but like a lot of my headshots, selfies, they all look like now. So I'm going to get new ones, but they always look the same as I do.
And there's nothing wrong with that. 6 month old headshots, 5 month old headshots. That's perfectly fine. No big deal. But here's what I was going to say. What if Jason did his headshots 5 months ago with a clean face? And so let's say his agent, that's all they have are those headshots, no beard, no facial hair. And so they're submitting him on these projects. And one of the casting directors loves his look. And then Jason shows up with the beard. Do you think the casting director is really going to care much about that? Probably not, right? It's not going to throw him off too much. It will throw him off a little bit. It will throw him off a little bit if it was a fresh, clean face, and then they see Jason, because he is going to look different, right? He is going to look a little bit different and so they might be like, wait a second, I didn't choose this guy. Oh, okay, I see. He has facial hair now. Okay, we'll talk to him about that. They'll watch his audition tape and they'll say, okay, well, we need him to have a clean face. We'll talk to him about that. It won't throw them off too much. But let's say Jason had a full head of hair when he did his headshots five months ago. Like say long hair, right? Like long hair down to his shoulders. And then he auditions like he is today. Let's say he had no facial hair, but long hair down to here. Would he look completely different auditioning today than he did in his headshot?
You're giving me too much credit now. I wish I had.
I'm just trying to give a good example, right? I'm trying to figure out what we can do to make you look like completely different. So that's an example. He decided to shave his head and grow the facial hair. We would want him to get updated headshots. His agent would be like, okay, we have to change this. Because again, casting directors, their biggest pet peeve is when they do that. Now, let me give you an example in real life, right? A lot of times what we do in the entertainment industry translates to real life all the time. And I think there's like this disconnect. People look at Hollywood and in the entertainment industry and celebrities as like up here, right? And then they think, oh, their lives are here. But really, it's not that far difference. And let me explain what I mean by that. A casting director is a normal person just like you and I, right? Some of you may be a casting director someday. You don't know that today, but maybe you get into the industry. A lot of these guys, if you jump on my Saturday sessions, and if you missed any Saturday, you can go back and watch the replay. I have them posted on the YouTube channel. You can go in and rewatch some of these sessions. Now, they might be a little boring. You know what the trick is you can do? Some of them could be a little slow. I always watch YouTube channels on 1.25 speed on these sessions, and then it speeds up the dialogue and I'm able to digest it a lot quicker. So that's a trick there for you guys. But I'll drop this in the chat, those of you who don't know what that channel is, just so that you guys have it here. But anyways, you guys can go back and watch some of these sessions whenever you have time on these Saturday sessions. Now, going back to the industry and people thinking that the entertainment industry is up here and we're all down here in our normal lives. But guess what? A casting director, a lot of these guys start off as actors in the acting business, and then everybody kind of moves to other opportunities and other jobs, and they end up enjoying other parts of the entertainment industry. A lot of these people that I interview, they all start somewhere, and a lot of them are actors, previous actors. But this casting director I was talking to, he was telling me if they send in a headshot that doesn't look like them, it's an automatic no for him. And not that he didn't like the audition or the person didn't do a great job. He thinks that person is just not professional enough to go out and get an updated headshot, which means that they're probably not going to be professional enough to handle the job. Does that make sense? So it's the little things that matter in this industry. And so I was interviewing a guy once for work. I needed an employee, and I asked everybody to please send me your resume in the employee ad that I had out. But I said, please send me a recent photo of you. I just wanted to see what these people look like. And I had somebody that I was interviewing for that was going to be customer facing, right? So they had to be presentable. If they weren't on camera or meeting with people, then I really don't care. I really care about your experience and how good you can do, right? But this person was a customer facing person. And so I said, please send me your resume, your headshot. And this one guy, I promise you, I had this appointment and he shows up, and I'm thinking the whole time in my mind, I'm going, I did not select this person for this job interview. How did this person even get this job interview? I'm talking to them and I'm like, I do not like this wasn't one of the applicants. And so the whole time I'm having this conversation, I'm thinking of ways of how to dismiss this person as quickly as possible without being mean. I'm just being nice and being friendly and talking and then saying, okay, all right, thank you so much. We'll be in contact. We'll make some decisions, that kind of a thing. As soon as I got off the call with them, it was a Zoom meeting. I went back and I looked through all the people I approved, and I realized this guy sent me a photo of him 20 years younger. And so based on that photo, I was like, okay, yeah, this he's a nice looking guy and he might, but now fast forward 20 years, he was definitely not somebody that he didn't age well. Let's just say that. The last 20 years were not good for him. So anyways, so that's what I mean by being professional. Details. So on these sessions, the one takeaway I want to give for you guys today before we open it up for some questions, and I forgot I was going to send you guys my link here. Here's the link. Those of you who don't know, I'm sure most of you do, but the channel is at Made Management Official. You can go on the live sessions. I do have those are recorded live, and they literally post directly to the channel. So any of those Saturday sessions that you guys miss, you're welcome to go back and take a look at it, but that's the YouTube channel there on Saturdays. I do have two different times. I alternate times every other weekend. The time this weekend is changing. If it's not updated in the lounge yet, it will be by the end of the day. So because I am at the event in Orlando on Saturday. So based on my schedule on Saturday, I have a little bit of a break at that event. And so I'm going to do the live session from the event in Orlando in between one of my breaks. So the time is changing. The lounge will be updated, that information if it's not up there yet, but it's not the normal Saturday time. But I am changing those Saturday. I did talk with the team. I'm changing the future ones after this weekend. The times they're going to be like an hour difference than what they normally are. So just be sure to check those. If you by chance happen to have them in your calendar with alarms going off, those of you who really want to jump on those, I know all of you have probably did that, right? So I just want to make sure you don't miss them in your calendars. So since I know everybody has it saved already. But no, so on these sessions, start thinking about your lighting. Think about camera position. Okay. And what I mean by that is I did a kind of a camera class. I was at a business seminar, I want to say 5 years ago. And there was a lady that they had this at the seminar, they had all these different speakers. One of the ladies her name's is Forbes Riley. Does anybody know who Forbes Riley is? If you Google her name right now, she'll pop up. There's probably a 1,000 things about her. Anyways, those of you who don't know, she was the infomercial queen. She's famous for infomercials. Those of you in the United States that are joining me, there's a thing called like late night television where they do these infomercials and they pick out like a bottle of water and they're like, this is the best bottle of water ever for $1.99. You guys can get 5 bottles. Do it now. And it's always people that, late. Anyways, that's what she did, but she was on like QVC, I think is the channel for product. And she's got the most sales of any person on that channel in the history of the channel. I think over $1 billion in sales. So she's a very talented person to be on TV, right? So I was at this business, it was a conference for 3 or 4 days, and she was one of the guest speakers, and I happened to be in her session. She had a 30-minute session, and she talked about camera presence. And I loved it. I was like, she's so right on because she's been in the camera. She's been on television her whole, like a 20-something year career that she did this. So she knows cameras. She's in the studio 5 days a week doing these infomercials and basically as a working actress. Even though she's a salesperson, she's a working actress. But she said camera presence is important. You always want your camera to be right here. This is where all the cameras are positioned when you're in studio for your close-up. And I thought that's so good because that's exactly what casting directors want. Casting directors want your camera to be right where I'm at today. So right in this frame, because then you can see me, you can see your eyes. So when you do a self-tape, you're turning your phone sideways. You're turning your phone sideways and you're recording yourself. They literally want 99% of self-tapes to be this tight, right? And the reason is because they want to see you. They want to hear you. They want to see your eyes. They want to see what you look like naturally. And of course, you want to have good lighting. So every once in a while, this changes. This isn't the always rule, right? These are the majority of the time rule. In the casting, if it says, please do a full body shot, especially with models, they'll ask you to do some side profile shots. They want to see you. Follow those instructions to the T. Read everything. Don't just skim read these things. Read everything. I do know casting directors. Like I said, I have a lot of friends in the business. I have casting directors who put in little notes in their casting instructions to see who follows instructions. So they're testing the people that are sending them audition tapes. And if they said wear a blue shirt and you show up in a pink shirt, to them, that's an automatic, absolutely not. They don't want to work with you because they don't think that you can follow directions or instructions. And these details are really important. Okay. So a casting director is just a normal person. They just see lots of people for auditions and that's what they do. So it's really not that much different than like a job interview. In a job interview, if you guys let's say you guys all had a job interview tomorrow for a job that paid you $1 million tomorrow, and you're going to get a $100,000 signing bonus next week if they hire you, and then you're going to get $1 million over the course of the next year at this job. And let's just say it's like being a barista, right? Like a Starbucks barista, right? That's the job. You're going to get a $100,000 signing bonus, and then you're going to get $1 million over the next year. And all you have to do is just be a Starbucks barista 5 days a week. Who would prepare for that job more than you've prepared for any other job you had out there? Right? Yeah, you would take it seriously. Would you go get your hair done and your nails done and manicure? And I would definitely go to get my beard trimmed up and get my eyebrows done. And I would make sure I got lots of sleep. I would make sure I showed up early. I would make sure my clothes were pressed and my suit was looking good, and you put your best foot forward. But that's not any different than auditions, right? These job interviews, some of these things can lead to those types of opportunities. And so I want you to take everything seriously and just do the best you can. Network. These platforms here, network with people that are here today, become friends with your fellow actors and models and all of us that are aspiring to be a part of this business, because it goes such a long ways, because you never know where it can lead to, right? You never know what the next opportunity is going to be. It's all about who you meet. So for example, I was talking to one of my clients today. She's a model and she's got alopecia. I don't know, does anybody know what alopecia is? I'm not that familiar with it, but basically she's lost all of her hair. And this is something, and she's a female model. And this is something that has just recently happened to her over the past like 5 years. She wasn't like born with it, right? So she's lost all of her hair as a model. And she just had a photo shoot. I was talking to her about it. She just had a photo shoot this week with a client who wanted somebody like her it was a shaving product. She's in Europe, and it was a shaving product. I don't even know the name because I'm not familiar. It's a European company, but the photo that they end up using, I love it. She's got shaving cream all over her head, and she's got a razor, and she's beautiful. She's a beautiful model, beautiful person. She just has no hair. And anyways, she's shaving her head with a razor, right? In this commercial, and this product. And I love it. I thought it was fantastic. And I was talking to her about it. I said, "How do you feel about it?" She said, "I love it. I was so excited about it when I saw the images. They're beautiful." And guess what? She said the photographer that worked with me, he said that he loved me and that he is excited because he needs me for a few other projects. And so he took down my information and he's going to be reaching out to me for a few other products. I said, "That's fantastic." I tell all of my clients, that's what this is all about. It's about networking. So now she has a contact with a really good photographer in Amsterdam, right? So guess what? If she needs good headshots done next year, some updated headshots, she's got a contact, right? She got paid for this photo shoot, and he says that he has other opportunities coming up that she would be perfect for. And so we don't know what those are. We don't know what they could lead to, but all of these opportunities can lead to something else. And that's really important in this business. It's about networking, being friendly. Even if it's a job where you're not getting paid anything, always just know that it's more about the opportunity. It's more about having something on your resume, something in your portfolio to have, and the opportunity, right? You don't want to go 20 years working free jobs. No, nobody wants to do that in this business. You don't want to just do 20 years of free photo shoots for these guys. But you do want to do some of that, because that leads to more opportunities, and you never know where people are going with these things. So today I encourage you guys to work on and think about camera presence whenever you're online for these sessions, because there could be an industry professional sitting on a session one day. You show up, you don't know who it is, and they're there, and they like you. They like something about you, right? And if they're an agent or a manager and they love your personality and they love your look, they might reach out and want to represent you. And I know a lot of you on here don't have representation currently. I think obviously that's a goal for everybody. Some of you do, but not everybody does. And even if you do have representation, there's always opportunity for representation in other markets, right? So I have a client who has 5 agents. She found one on her own, one local agent, and then I found the other 4. I set up meetings with her for the other 4. So she's currently has myself as a manager and 5 agents, right? Those are just different markets that she's a part of. So there's always opportunity, and that's what these sessions are for. We want you guys to grow. But so let's talk about like background. So obviously like Jason has a good background and he's standing. I love that he's standing. Not that I want you to stand during this whole session. I don't expect you to stand, but at least if you guys are asked to do like performance, try to find an area where you can stand, because what happens is it makes you more, when you're standing, you're more engaged, right? If you're sitting and trying to act, you never want to do a self-tape sitting down, right? Whenever you have an audition and they have a self-tape, you never want to be sitting down. So think of that when you're doing like a performance. Those of you who had a chance to perform for Gerard last week, we're going to get the callback information over to you guys. I know you guys are excited about that. But standing is, some of you are sitting and some of you are standing. I'm talking to you today so that you guys are more aware for the next time an opportunity comes up, because it will happen. If you're on this platform, there's going to be a lot of these opportunities that are going to come up. So next time you have a chance to perform, think about, oh, I need to be standing. And maybe you're online, you don't even know you're performing. Like today, if I was here and I'm watching and they're like, okay, we're going to have everybody perform today, the first thing that I would think of is be like, oh, I'm sitting right now. I would turn off my camera really quick and I would go find a spot where I can move to stand. So think about that. Lighting is going to be key because we want to see you. You want to have good lighting. So a couple of you performed last week. I know one of you did, and I'm not going to call you out by name. I'm not going to pick on anybody, but I do recall seeing it was really dark in your room. And we had a really hard time seeing you during your performance last week for Gerard. And again, I'm not saying that's necessarily a missed opportunity, but it could be. We don't know what's going through his head or what he's looking for. Ashley says she has a tripod in your car. I love it. Prepared, ready to go. Yeah. So camera position is important. The other thing that Forbes Riley told me is on this meeting that I was at, she was talking to all these business professionals about Zoom meetings, right? But I loved it. I was like singing the audience going, yeah, keep going. Just let them know. Because these are all things that I think about. Camera position, you want it to be important because if you're looking up, it looks like you're timid. That's what she was saying, right? She was saying, think about a movie and the different angles that they shoot in a movie. Think about when they want something powerful, they'll come up at something. So you have like your giants and your robots and your stuff, and you're powerful. The camera angle is always with them looking down on you. So it's the same thing as a self-tape. You don't want to be looking up. You don't want to be looking down. You want to be right center, the camera right in front of your eyes. And then again, practice it while we're on these sessions, right? We're not doing a self-tape here today. None of you are doing a self-tape, but it's a great opportunity to start thinking about all of these same things as you would for a self-tape. And that's what I'm really trying to prepare you guys for. Because each of you who has representation, or each of you gets a manager or an agent, guess what? Guess what the next step is in your career, in this journey? Auditions, lots of self-tapes, right? That's the next step. That's what you're going to be basically constantly doing until you land those roles, right? You have to do those self-tapes. You have to do the auditions. So I'm talking to you about camera presence because I want you guys to be great on camera. I want you guys to really do a great job. So think about, if you don't have a place to put your camera at an angle or right in your face, think about ways that you can make that happen. Like tripods are nice to have, a tripod in your car if you have that. Just the way that things are positioned are important. Lighting, sound, background, and of course the camera angle, and then also what you're wearing. You never want to be too distracting. I'm sure you guys noticed my little logo here today, right? It's pretty distracting, but if it wasn't there, You want it, but it's reflective, so you see it. Does anybody know this brand? I'm a brand ambassador for them. No, I'm just kidding. I'm not advertising anything. Yeah, it's a Psycho Bunny from New York, New York City. I see a couple of hands here raised. I have about 10 minutes. I want to answer some questions for you guys. I hope this was useful for you. I know some of it could have been like review, some of it could have been basic, but again, at the end of the day, I really want you guys to be successful in this, and I want you guys to have fun while you're doing it, and I want you to start thinking about the little things. The little things are really important. So let's start off. I think I saw Rosalie's hand first. Is your hand still raised, or was that earlier?
Yeah,
Okay.
but I have 3 questions, so I didn't want to go before everyone just in case I took up a bunch of time.
No worries. 3 questions. Let's do one, and then I'll come back to you. Can we do that?
Okay,
All right.
okay,
You pick
yeah.
out your favorite.
Oh, my favorite. Like for headshots, right? I know that model headshots can be like a little bit more of displaying like how you look in certain things. But like for actors, what should my headshot be? Because I'm getting them done today by a family friend.
Yeah, sure, absolutely. So headshots, that's a good question. You want a headshot to represent you. You don't want a lot of makeup. You want to have definitely lip gloss. Make sure your lips aren't chapped. You want to have some like mascara. Make sure your eyes pop a little bit. When they're done, the photographer is going to do a little retouch on them, which is perfectly fine, but you don't want it to look too much, right? You don't want it to look fake. So make sure it just is a real natural. You want to get your hair done, but you want your hair to be like what you do like on a, so let's say a day-to-day. And you can do different looks with your headshot too. A lot of actors do that, but I'm just talking about if you just go in and get a basic session of headshots, what should you do? So those are some of the guidelines. Don't wear black, don't wear white. Okay, don't wear solid black, don't wear solid white. Very contrasty on the images. Sometimes the camera's that's picking up lighting and everything, and it's sometimes hard for the camera to, especially with white, to make a good balanced image. A pop of color is always nice. Something like a solid color shirt that fits your complexion. Whatever your eye color, whatever makes your eyes pop, you want to maybe stick with a solid color. That is going to be the best. And of course, neutral backgrounds, nothing too distracting. You don't want to have black backgrounds either, or white background. You want neutral colors. So just, they're really honestly basic. I was a headshot photographer. I did that for years and years. I had a studio in New York and Los Angeles for a while. Flew back and forth, but that's definitely something. Headshots are a skill. They're boring, to say the least. They're not the most exciting thing. Modeling pictures are different, right? Modeling pictures, you could be as glamorous, you could look older. You always want to look your age in your headshot too. That's the other key. So whatever your age is, you want to look your age in those headshots as much as possible, or younger. Some people take mature photos. I have clients that do. I've worked with a lot of clients, and they just look so mature in front of the camera. They just do such a great job. But sometimes I'll have, for example, like a 12-year-old model that I'll be working with, and she looks, when you're looking at her images after the fact on the computer, I'm like, man, she looks like she's 20. That's just how some people look on camera sometimes. And there's nothing you can do about that, right? There's nothing really other than like your hair. Obviously, you can make your hairstyle look more mature or younger based on how you put your hairstyle, right? You could do pigtails, for example, and make yourself look younger. You could, like a Pippi Longstockings or something like that. There's tricks that you can do, but you always want to look your age. Yeah, have fun with it. And then you want that, ideally you want your headshot to really just pop, stand out. You want the focus to be you. So not the background, not what you're wearing. When you're looking at the image, does it draw you in? You want to do a variety of expressions. You're going to want to do serious. You're going to want to do smiles. You're going to want to do laughing. Just have fun with it. Do a variety of expressions, different poses. Make sure they're really close up too. That's the other thing. So same like with the camera, right? Really, you just need it here. This is it. It doesn't have to be full body. It doesn't have to be anything like that. Now, if you're going to use some of these for some modeling photos, obviously that's different. Models, we want to see body types, we want to see structures. Yeah, good question. I'll come back to you for your next question.
Wait, but how should I, once I get like the photos, like I'll pick like a couple, right? But how would I like lay it out? But like, how would I lay it out so they
So,
can send out
so a headshot is just your headshot. So it's
just
just your
one?
headshot. Yeah. But go online and Google headshots. It's going to have your name at the bottom. So just make sure sometimes they have a little border around them, like a little white border around it, and then your name's done. There's different ways you can do it. But if you go online and you just look up what a headshot looks like, you'll see it's just nice and tight, name at the bottom. And the best way to pick it out, here's how I say it. Let's say you have 100 photos. This is the way I do it as a photographer. I go through them and I don't really stop and think about them and look at them. And the ones that jump out at me, I'm naturally attracted to. Oh, I like that photo. I'll save that one. So I just scroll through them. So it's just 1, 2, 3. Ooh, I like that one. 4, 5, 6. And then you'll have a little pile off to the side. And then from there, you can go through those 5 or 6 or 10 that you really like and really pick out your favorites. But as an agent or manager, I want those 10, right? I don't want to see the 100. If you go out and get 100 done, my clients get new headshots done all the time and they send me links to them. I say, okay, go through them, pick out your favorites, and then send those to me because I don't have time to sit there and watch. Sometimes they have 1,000 photos, right? So I want them to pick their favorites and then I'll go through their favorites. And if by chance they picked out a whole bunch that I don't like, then I'll say, okay, I want to see more. But most of the time, you know what you look good in.
If I like don't already have an agent, because I don't, but and then I don't know, say Gerard, hey, I want to work with you. I have to send him like my favorites, like 10 or 9 or something.
Yeah, so what Gerard will do if you receive a call back from him, he's going to say, send me your resume, send me your headshot. And so you just have to pick one, right?
One.
And then he's going to say, send me a audition tape. And he's going to request that you
Mhm.
self-record. Now, remember, you guys, this is just to establish a baseline. Okay, it doesn't have to be perfect. It doesn't, your audition tape does not have to be perfect. He just wants to know what he's working with. So if he sees it and he loves you and he loves your personality and he wants to work with you, he'll talk to you about it. He'll say, okay, I liked your audition tape, but this needs to be fixed. You need to work on this, or you need to watch out for, I like your headshot, but these are not good enough. Do you have any more? Or can you send me 10 more? But as an agent manager, I have headshots from my clients. I have multiple headshots, and then I pick the best one for that casting. Right? So I have a folder with each of my clients' headshots, and then based on the casting that's happening, what it's for, I pick out what I think is going to be the best headshot for that one casting, because casting only usually sees one. Now, sometimes they'll allow for more than one, and then I'll pick out 2 or 3. But most of the time, it's usually just the one. Yeah, so Gerard will ask for more, especially if he decides to move forward and work with you. But he just wants to see one right away. That's all he wants. Just kind of see one. He wants to know what he's working with. He wants to see how good you look in the photo and how your resume is and how your self-tape is. Yeah, good question. Kajol, did I say that right? You
It's
told me your name 20 times.
it's casual.
Kajol. I don't know why that's so difficult for me. I apologize.
No worries.
Kajol. All right.
You could just think of eyeliner. It means eyeliner.
It means eyeliner. That's the definition of it?
Yeah.
Oh, cool. I love it. Have you met another called Kajol? Spelled exactly.
So yeah, so there's a famous Bollywood actress. She's the #1 actress in India,
Okay.
and my parents named me after her.
Okay.
So it's really cool.
Nice. I love it. So you're
I would look up her movies. They're
really, have you
really
seen,
like
you've
well
seen,
known.
okay.
Oh yeah, I grew up watching them.
Oh,
I was
nice.
like, I hope to be the next Kajol, but in America.
Okay. I love it. Very cool. What's your question for me?
So my question is, I already sent Gerard my resume. However, I wanted to have it checked. Like, it's my very first time making this type of resume. So how can I go about that?
You know what you can do is you can actually ask for his opinion if you wanted to.
Okay.
Honestly, like if you guys watch my Saturday sessions, I keep referring back to that, right? Because I have different industry professionals that are on there. Some of them at the very end, I ask, hey, how can somebody reach out to you? Or what can they do? You'll see that most of these guys, again, we're all normal people. We're all having fun. We're all doing these crazy jobs, but they'll say, reach out to me, email me here, tell me that you saw me on today's session. Say, I saw you on Jeremy's YouTube channel. I was really excited to see you. I love that your favorite color is blue. Pick out something that's going to make you stand out. Be like, hey, I have this resume. I'd love for you to look over and let me know what you think about it, right? Or how can I make it better? And honestly, what you really want to do is make sure that you don't get put in the category of they don't really know who you are and they're so busy that they don't have time. But if you mention something about them, they'll trust me. That's what really stands out in this business. So if you say, hey, Gerard, I love seeing you last week. Thanks for joining us on the Zoom session. I did an audition for you. I'm not sure if you liked it or not, but here's my resume. I wanted to send that to you. This is my first resume. Can you let me know if there's needs any improvement? Just keep it simple. And he might say, no, this looks great. There's nothing need to be changed. Or he might be like, yes, change this or change that. So yeah, that's a good question. But always when you do email these guys that are on these sessions, reference something about it. Remember Gerard was in Honduras, right? He's not there anymore. So you could say, hey, thanks for joining us while you're in Honduras. I hope your trip was great. Something like that's just going to make it stand out so he knows that you're just not a random person emailing him, because guess what? He gets random emails all day long, just like the rest of us. And like, for example, I have a text talking about random emails. I have a text from a guy who messaged me yesterday and I did not respond because I don't know who he is, but I don't know how he got my number, but he sent me a picture of his daughter. And he's like, hey, just want to let you know, I would love for my daughter to start working with you and be represented by you. Here's her photo. And that was the text. And I don't know who this guy is. I've never met him before. Maybe I did, but he didn't take the effort to make it a little more clear. If he said, hey, I met you over at this event last month, remember I was going to send you a photo of my daughter, then I would have responded. Right? I would have been like, oh yeah, thank you for sending that over. Can you do this? And giving him more instruction, right? But because it was just I'm just thinking he's just a random guy that got my number somehow. And I'm so busy that I don't really have time to respond because I don't know who he is. So when you guys are reaching out to these professionals, think of things that can make your message stand out. So if you go back and look at some of my Saturday sessions on the YouTube channel, at the very end, I'll ask them how they can contact you, and they'll say that. Watch the session, think of something that we talked about that maybe stands out, and then do it. And I promise you, you know why I know this? Because I actually saw some of these guys that I'm on these live sessions with. I've seen them in person since, and I had one of them. In fact, I was having lunch with them, and they're like, man, I don't know how many people you have on that session, but there's a lot of good people that reached out to me that said that they saw us on that session. And it blew me away because these guys they love having connections with people and they love that their people are finding them. And so he was actually surprised, but in a good way, that he had several good people reach out to him because they saw that interview with him on my channel, and he now has a potential client that he's excited about. And the only reason why he said he even answered the emails because they said that they saw us and they referenced something that we talked about. So yeah, so take the time, do your homework, do the details. Susan, how are you doing, Susan? Yes,
Hi,
you are now.
how are you?
Good,
Are you
good.
fantastic?
I'm
Good.
doing great, yes. Try not to melt
Yes.
the Phoenix.
I know
Yes.
you're in a hurry, but glasses or no glasses for headshots?
Okay. So I always tell people, if you wear glasses, try to do some with both glasses and without glasses. The only issue with glasses, and as a photographer, I know that this happens, is that there are some glasses that they're anti-glare and they photograph great. But you don't want to hide your eyes. We want to see your eyes. And every glass is different. Every prescription's different. Everybody has a different glass, right? Now, glasses, you can tilt them off your ears. So sometimes the lighting that the photographer is using is really reflective, and then all our lights in your lens. So you don't want that at all, for sure. So if you just raise them up off the back of your ears so they're tilted a little bit, sometimes the camera can't see that fact, and then it causes the light to reflect off and not into the camera itself. So that's a trick that
Great advice.
but
wow.
all glasses are shaped different, size different. So I do like my clients to have glasses, especially if they wear glasses, but I also don't want to, I want to make sure we can see their eyes. So just keep that in mind. Do a little bit of both, try to play with it. And if it's not working, just do without. And then I always tell people when I'm working with them doing photography, if they take their glasses off, I always tell them, look, you don't have to see me. I might be super blurry to you right now. Don't worry about that. I see you. Okay. You don't squint like to try to see me as a photographer. Just relax, keep your eyes relaxed, keep them nice and open, and I'll photograph you.
My question is just based on the white background in Zoom. I'm obviously not in my normal house today. Normally I have like just a blank white wall. Is it recommended to put something on there to make the background other than white?
Yeah, white is usually not recommended. And not that it can't be used, it just sometimes you can get lost in the white. Okay. If it's like a cream, like today I have this like kind of a cream color behind me, obviously that's fine. But if it's like white and we're talking like paper white, that sometimes just doesn't translate well on camera. If you have another color, you can always use another color. A lot of casting directors, they recommend like blue or grays. Those are the two, like more of a neutral blue, not like a bright blue, but a lower toned blue. What you can do is you can go on Amazon and for $30 or $40, you can buy these really inexpensive, like kind of these pop-up screens that can fold up, but they're basically like a tint material, so they don't really wrinkle too much. They advertise them as wrinkle free. So you can unfold it and then you have this nice neutral gray behind you. The only thing that you have to worry about is I've actually used a few of those and some of them are smaller than others. And so some of the time if I used one and then it's like, you see the edge, you don't want to see the edge, right? So you have to sit back until you can't see that edge anymore. So if you do get a chance to go on Amazon to buy this gray or blue background or something, try to get the biggest one you can afford. See what the different sizes are and get the extra large one because that's going to be so much easier to work with for self-tapes and stuff like that. I always say too, if you have space somewhere in their house that's set up for self-tapes. So they have their tripod, they have their lighting, and they don't have anything else in there. And that's like their setup. So basically they just know, they just turn on the lights and they go and set up. So I apologize, you guys. I do have to go now. I'd love to be able to answer more questions, but I'm being paged currently and I have to jump off because I was supposed to have another meeting right now. So my assistant's saying, hey, they're here. They're waiting for you. It's great to see everybody. I love seeing you guys. I can't wait to see you. Join me on Saturday if you can. And next Tuesday, we have a special guest, according to Josh. So I don't even know who it is yet. So we'll all find out together. How does that sound? Have a great week, everybody. I hope you guys are doing great. Enjoy wherever it is that you're from. And we will see you next on the next session.